Hello everyone, I hope you're all well. So today I wanted to go through a few things, and I think there's going to be another segment to this because I am going to do a further prediction. So I've got some of the stuff that I had coming through after I did the October predictions. I'm going to share those, and anything else I will also share. Now I am recording this on the same day of the Paris Fashion Week, and I think Victoria Beckham's there and Meghan Markle. So I dare say after this there's going to be a whole plethora of YouTube on Meghan Markle, because I've just seen something about her arriving and she looks like she's got castor oil on her face. I know some other people will say something else, but just thinking castor oil, some people do it as moisturizing. Anyway, so I'll pull cards on that, and I think Victoria Beckham's there, and there's something about her having a Netflix documentary. I don't know if that's coming out or what's happening. I am not really a fan of Victoria Beckham, so I don't know if I can bring myself to watch it. Funny enough, I was getting, when I was thinking of this, that I was getting, I think she might go into makeup. You know, she's doing fashion. I think she might go into makeup. And I'm not sure if, I feel like David might be saying it's a bad idea, but she's thinking it's a good idea. And I think she might succeed in it, because I think she might go down like a natural or a plain Jane kind of look. But I also wanted to talk about some of the energies that we have at the moment. And I think there is quite a bit of, definitely an earthquake is coming up, right? I've said that before. The Ring of Fire, so, you know, Philippines, Indonesia, those areas, and then the rumbles kick off. This might stay for members and Patreons only. It might go out to subscribers. All on YouTube. I'm following what Spirit wants, whether I'm on camera or whatever it is. So for this one, grab a coffee, enjoy it. You can do other stuff while you're listening. I understand that there's a boy. It's not hit the news as I do this reading. We've just passed the Aries full moon, and if this is members first, members, you'll see it, and then it'll go out to subscribers, but I'll just see how that really sits. There's a boy, Gus Lamont, who's in Australia, who I believe has gone missing. So I'm going to pull cards on that first, and I dare say it's going to come more on in the media. And I understand they live like in an outback kind of grandparent and couple. The reason I laugh at that is because I don't know the dynamics. I don't know, like, if he's with his mom, father, both of them, if they're divorced or anything. And I wanted to do a separate reading on this, but I'm going to include it because I actually wasn't sure whether I will record this, to be honest, or take, you know, just respect my energy of where it is respected. But I get really weird family dynamics with them. So I'm not sure what we're going to see in the news. As it is, it's not really being covered. So by the time you see this, you might see a bit more coming out. He looks about 3 years old, and very outback kind of house, I think. And I don't know who was looking after him or who he lives with. But apparently he's gone missing, basically. So we've got couple, we have fraud. So there's lies. So there's two people here that are not telling the truth, being quite covert, and there's accomplice and partner in crime in reverse. Okay, so, you know, and I feel like this means that there's two odds that are not getting on with each other, opposing, and it could be two couples. It could be that family dynamic that I get that's a bit weird. So the whole story here that he's just gone missing is wrong. The other thing when I was thinking about him, I was getting something about a football game. And I don't think he was playing football outside in the desert, but I do get a football game. So I don't know if there was a distraction or what it was. Get landfill here. Desert, so this is the area, right? Because, and mountains. So this could be describing the area. Now, if there is been a distraction, maybe the boy wandered off and really he wasn't being looked after. Okay, so negligence. Okay, let's just pull from this deck. I just want to see what cards we get for Gus. Gus Lamont. You know, there's people that want children that can't have children, people that are too old to have children. We're in that age where, you know, a lot of single 40-year-olds wishing they could have children, get married. And then there's people that have children and constantly have children and they don't see a gift from God. It's so annoying. And then those that have kids put the kids in homes or group homes, and I don't see it always turning out very good. Is anyone from Australia? Anyone? Because I think it's mainly Australia. Okay, so we've got the Devil. That was the third card that came out. This was the first or the second. First or second. We've got the Sun and the Ten of Cups. These are two positive cards. So family dynamics definitely here. The Sun, maybe it was during the day that he went out. You know, maybe it's just before 5 or 6. And we've got the Devil here. Not a good sign. And then we've got the Page of Wands. Could this be him wandering out? It could be very much. So there's a page and we've got a Nine of Pentacles at the bottom here. Seven of Wands. So there's someone that's being quite defensive. So I feel like with this, there could be someone, male figure, that's not really talking. And if they talk, they're going to be quite defensive. They're going to say something kind of odd. It could be like, we are grieving, give us space, or something like that. Or there's someone not talking, being very defensive. We've got the Home at the bottom of the deck, and we've got the Moon. So there's secrecy here around the home, home dynamics, and we've got the Ten of Cups. Okay, so the Ten of Cups, the home, and then the Devil is the secrecy with the Moon, the last card. The Page of Wands is the World. So we've got a full circle chapter for this Page of Wands here. To me, this is there's some truth there is some truth to the point that he could have wandered off, but this is not what's happened and it's not the story. I also feel like the police or the government, was there a while ago a boy in Australia that went missing from foster care parents? I can see his face because I wasn't aware of these things until I started doing these readings. So he, I think he had a Superman pajama on. I can't remember his name. I feel like the police are taking lessons from that, even though the foster parents are apparently not guilty. I think they're trying to communicate and look at things in a different perspective, be more on point than they did in the past. So this story is going to get a bit weird with Gus. Unfortunately, there's something that's going to get weird. There's something about male energy. I also feel like when this happened, parental guardian was not there or informed right away. So that could be like the police suddenly knock on the door saying, I don't know, your boy, your grandchild is missing. And then it's kind of like, well, why didn't this person from the family let me know? That's just an example that I feel could fit. So let's just see something. Oh, straight out. Will Meghan Markle after this Paris Fashion Week? So I still haven't seen any footage of like her, I dare say we're going to see stuff because it always hits the news. So I dare say any cameras that are recording there or after parties, we're going to see what she's been like. Will she try and explore looking at fashion or clothing given the Paris Fashion Week and obviously Victoria, etc.? I get a strong yes. So I think Victoria will look at possibly doing makeup. I don't get the strongest confirmation, and I think it's because of the energy that I said, that I think David might be like, I'm not sure this is a great project and it might just be too much. I'm not sure if it will be successful or worth the energy that you're thinking of investing in. Like, you've invested so much to get a breakthrough on, let's say, the fashion. I feel like she might have invested quite a lot, and obviously they did have money. So all these that always say, you know, we're in the red and stuff, sometimes they don't understand what the red is. But I feel like there's an opposing here, but she's definitely got a new idea around it or around something. So that's interesting. Something that I was getting as well coming up is that there's definitely going to be new airline legislation coming out, and I think with that we're going to also have new new aircraft legislation, procedures, airlines, and I think we might see over the next coming months or right now, as we're heading into the mid of October, new security measures at like airports or airlines, just to be how annoying and headache they always are. So that could be it. But I think the new aircraft legislation and procedures is because of like all the recent trouble around aircrafts, either the collisions, the parked, the aircraft, India, all that kind of stuff coming up. The other thing that I was getting is, you know, the EP files is definitely not going away. So we will be getting, I think you might hear rumors, which could be true because you're not going to see the list yet, of people of the White House implicated in these files, in the EP files. I mentioned in the last predictions that the US there'll be a disease that goes around in the US, and I feel like it could be like a measles or something. I'm not sure if it's measles. Whatever it is, they need to get a hold of it quite fast. I think in the UK, and I don't want to read on the UK, several reasons. But also the energy is very malefic, and this is not the people, it's the country. It's horrible, the energy. Not the people, again, it's not the people, it's the overarching energy that's coming down. Is very dark but very malefic. And disclaimer, this is for entertainment purposes only, and we are just talking energies. And I think there could be a demise of a UK politician, MP. Yeah, I'm going to put it that way. All right. So I think we do have that coming up, those things coming up. I did want to go through some of the energies that I've been feeling, some of the energies we will see, and some of the energies that will probably come out in a better way. I do have these noted because, you know, I used to have sometimes notes and I'll be like, I can't read my notes, so I've got it noted here, and sometimes I have it here. I'm just saying that because maybe some of you think, what the hell am I looking at? And I feel that that was a question. So the events that we have seen unfolding and will continue to see unfold, I feel are, if we look at them, they're hypocrisy events. For example, you know that Fortila boat that's going to Israel with food and aid for the Palestinians. I believe this is the second time in many months that it's been stopped, it's been raided, the things have been taken, and I think even Greta got arrested or something, or deported back with her team. And this is international seas, and there are laws of international seas. So when you think of international seas, every country should comply. And if you think of breaking international seas, think of the most common one that breaks international seas. It's like pirating, isn't it? It's pirates. But there's a hypocrisy about that because nothing was done. Nothing seems to be done. Yet there's an international law. The other thing that so watch these events unfolding right now and will continue to unfold. I was also getting reference to a lot of things back in 70, 71, 72. And as I was thinking of that, I obviously don't know much about those times, but those years, I did do some research, some of you might know. And I was getting to look up a song by John Lennon, and I just did before I pressed record. And I was looking for famous songs by John Lennon. And I think the one that Spirit wants to share was 1971, so it's in that range. And it's called Imagine. And when I look at the lyrics, I think it's correct. So please allow me just to read the main lyrics here. Imagine there is no heaven, it's easy if you try, no hell below us or above us, only the sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries, it isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world be as one. Imagine no possessions, I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger, a brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us and the world will live as one. So I believe that this is a song, given I was getting reference of like the 71, 72 era, and look up for John Lennon. And it took me a while because I don't know his songs. So I might have heard this song. I'll have to go. I'm curious to listen to what it's like. Do any of you like it? So that is what I believe is relevant. And it ties in with what I'm saying. I think we're also going to see a lot of first energies. What do I mean by that? Like, do you know when there's years of like the first black man to do this, to be president, to do this, the first woman FBI or sergeant or something, and it needs to go back to like the 70, 71, 72, because there's something around those energies that is coming back round. standing up against racism, even if it's genocide. You know, Palestine was Christians and it's Muslims, but what's going on is also racism. It's very segregating, and it's dogmatic racism that's underneath it, including trying to tie in religion, and that Islam is terrorism. I was doing some research as well. It was also the Bangladesh was in a bit of trouble, because then we had India and Pakistan, and then also Palestine during this time, where the UK basically decided to play with the borders. And for Palestine, it was 1948, where the land and people and borders, there was land and there was people and there was borders, yet the UK said there's no land, there's no people, there's no borders. It's a land, I can't remember exactly the wording, the statement. Yet there was a population, and there was cohabiting religions in 1947 and 48. So we will see the continuous of standing up for human rights, and we will see how dogmatic things are coming through. And the reason I'm recording this is because for our awareness. So you should be able to see these energies currently and how they're playing out. We're going to see a whistleblower and some whistleblowing supporting humanity and supporting an individual, possibly individuals as well. I was taken to Vietnam, and I know that obviously the US, and I understand some people won't like to listen to this because I've mentioned countries that they're from, that they're nationality of. I've mentioned my own country here, and the truth is just the truth. It's not one bad, and I'm not saying anything. I'm trying for us to awaken and to realize, you know, because there's so much going on, we feel a bit lost, okay? And I'm going to get to that energies of movement. But when I was reading about Vietnam, apparently there was something called Agent Orange. And this was like a defoliant that was to put on leaves of trees to make them fall, so the Vietnamese can't hide behind leaves, trees, in the trees. But apparently it was actually tearing the skin off the humans, off the Vietnamese. And there's a famous painting, and I want to look it up because it was noted, but I want to look it up. I think some of you will know, and I think I might have seen it. I know there's a famous painting of a girl with a green eye, and she's got a shawl on her head, orange. Can you remember that? I don't know what that's from. Maybe that's Afghan. But there's a child running away naked, and it's a Vietnamese child. And I feel like a lot of people that have seen that picture, it's stuck with them. It's really stuck with them. And right now, if this was done, we could, you know, the excuse could be AI, but back then it wasn't. And this picture actually won an award. So I think a lot of you are going to know which one it is. The energies basically of what I'm describing are uncomfortable, but they're very compelling, because it's hard to look at. It's hard to sit here and listen to me because it's going to be triggering some of you that don't want to listen, want to turn a blind eye, or feel uncomfortable with, you know, your country being mentioned or something that doesn't sit right. But we're talking about humanity as opposed to pinpointing fingers at everyone. It's about awareness. And so by having this energy, it means that then there's compelling energy, because it's hard to look at. So by being compelling, it brings things, people to speak, to move forward, to stand up, to make the change, basically. I feel the current energy in this mid-October we're in could bring paranoia. So you could hear from mid-October a bit towards the end. And especially, I don't know if something already has come up, but there's paranoia. And this could be that we hear of a prime minister, a president, a famous person, and it could be multiple, where they're recording either staff, the population, because they are paranoid about what they're doing, not only in terms of wrongdoings, but no, paranoia beyond that, mixing it up with their role, but also personally. So let me give you an example. This could be monitoring the human nation of a country, but the actual is actually stemming from paranoia that's nothing to do with the reason that you need to monitor, for example. It could be on a very basic note, it could be a famous person that a leak comes out soon, if not, when now, that they've been recording their staff, or they have 50 cameras. When I first started, they had 10 cameras. It's that kind of paranoia. So that is the energy. And also, I do want to say that, let me just check the camera. Okay. That, something popped on my feed last week, and it was that an African king arrived in Abu Dhabi, UAE, and he arrived with like 15 wives and I don't know, 150 servants. And I was like, what? And I think, when I was looking at the comments, they were saying he's king of something with Z, something with W, because obviously the title King of Africa is a continent. So people were breaking it down, but I was like, what is this? The people are in poverty and he has all this. And I just thought, if this was a Middle Eastern person who arrived this way, God knows, or even royal from the UK, God knows what upheaval and slandering would have happened. Yeah, I don't even think we've heard of this African king visiting the UAE. And, so it's the Western world that's trying to help Africa. Many African countries voted not to recognize Palestine, and their king is in this energy. Can you see that the energy of suffering, to put others in suffering, does not elevate you? So what I'm trying to say is the people of Africa that are suffering feel like Palestine or any other country should also have hardship in some way, votes that way, but that doesn't help your positioning, your energy. I hope this is coming across clear. I also saw in a pop-up, I don't know if it's true, the Syrian president who was recently outed, Bashar al-Assad, was poisoned in Russia. Now, if you remember a while back, I said that there will be a president poisoned. And I do think that I also mentioned one of the presidents that has to be careful in terms of poisoning. And I believe it might have been Putin, by a female as well. And it's interesting because this apparently happened in Russia. I didn't know he fled to Russia. He is someone that's always supported the Western region, yet he was outed by the Western region. And I don't think he was good for his country, because I see a lot of Syrians that were celebrating. So I think he wasn't good. But the question now comes as to so I asked, is it, so who of the Western world put in place? It's a bit of a standstill. What my major arcana is ISIS governing. So is that going to be better? I think they feel their freedom right now. But what I'm trying to say is there are a lot of underlining things here. Just giving you examples of things, of energies that could duplicate and come through, and the societal changes that we actually will need to happen and occur. In 1972, I also found that the martial law was introduced or put forward in the Philippines for a bit of time, and Korea, I think I read, actually one of them had it for 10 years. And that was like repression, to repress. And if we think of Union Jack, there's been a lot of arrests around what you say on social media. I mean, yeah. I've mentioned before, and I want to mention it again in my predictions, that the cryptocurrency is going to be heightened to try to devalue the US dollar, and that's to do with, because I was mentioning Wall Street, etc., and something come through with Wall Street the same week I did that prediction, but I didn't post it, to try and pay back debt. And this is also debt by countries buying products from the US that cover that debt. That is definitely happening, so we need to see that. But there's an energy of standing up for what's right and seeing the hypocrisy. I see a lot about the AI Atlas, and I thought, let me try and listen to someone talking about it, someone that looked like he was science, not psychic. And honestly, it's not that it was scientific. I could not grasp what the hell he was talking about. I wanted something short, straight to the point. But what I can grasp is no one knows truly what it is, but it seems like everyone's obsessed and focused on it. Don't forget, these things also act as distractions. So are you listening to science-backed people, some psychics that you trust, or are you listening to everything, conspiracies, anyone that's trying to cover it, that's trying to guess, that's saying they're going to save the world, it's ET. Don't get obsessed with something that we don't even know what it is exactly, that we will be saved, the world will be saved, it's the new age. It's still unknown, and I want to dive into this a little bit more. So if we initiate and stand up for what is right, we also need to look at a theme that we're going to see, that people are going to stand up to, this is me, this is my right, this is my body. We're going to see that, as well as humanity. I've got my note of air traffic airline legislation and new security airport measures are possibly, but I mentioned that at the beginning. I do want to say that change from now onwards is going to be slow until we're well into 2026, because we've been rapid. So what happens now is we've had a very rapid time, and if you go back to 2025, I did say watch out from the beginning till the end of August, September time, and even in October predictions, you'll see that it's toned down, even in your taroscopes. But the change that's been happening is incomplete. Okay, so it's not accelerated rapid change anymore that's going to continue until 2026. And what has been started, we won't see any results or coming to an end, more or less, until 2026. And the new thing, you see, you hear the idea and movement, but then you can't quite see it. You can't see something. It's difficult to see because there's nothing tangible, and it's been so rapid. So there is definitely a slowdown in change. I do want to emphasize the AI Atlas, the Age of Aquarius, and all these things that are being said. And some people, psychics, whatever, might say this is going to be the solution to the UK this year. But we also, I I think the solutions need longer. And we also need to look at our own lives, ourselves. We need to be discerning though, and we need to not fear. We need to stand up for our rights, and we need to do it together, because together we're powerful. It's like the digital ID. Some people didn't bother to sign it. Why wouldn't you sign it? Because you're thinking, oh, it's okay, they'll sign it, it'll be enough. No, you have to sign it. If you feel that way, I'm not, forcing anyone. You have to sign your petition either way. Sometimes we think, yeah, so many people talking about it, it'll be enough people. Put action to something. Also, healing ourselves, okay? So the individual level, to see what we have in order for us to save ourselves, because 3iAtlas, this country, that country, president, age of Aquarius, that everyone was going on about, yes, it's changing. But what can we do in our own lives to also change? Heal ourselves and be very discerning and questioning and standing up for the external. I think towards the end of October, any negotiations that happened, we might see a more promising step forward. I think some of them are willy-nilly and show, and it'll be like, okay, we've come to an agreement, suddenly there's a bombing. You know what I mean? But I think by third week, latter part, like past the second week into the third week and onwards, especially around like 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, let's say 17th even, we're going to see a bit more, probably, fingers crossed, like negotiations that could have a better result at this moment in time, okay? If they're done, okay? There's an energy for a better balanced way. Going back to my October predictions and the tarot scopes of the energy I felt, I want to just pull cards now on Greta Thunberg, or whatever her name is. I looked up her age. She's only 22. She looks younger than that. Because I think a lot of people are probably saying she was faking it and stuff like that. I don't really know. But also some people want to take some distraction away to make her look bad, so that then it's kind of like people don't support her aid to Palestine. Food to a human. Anyone who's done that and risking their lives on international sea, I believe, needs recognition. So let's just pull her overall energy, and the rest of the predictions I will get recorded. Obviously, if you enjoy this, please do like, subscribe, do comment. Members, I will definitely record it and get it up for you, because there's appreciation there, I guess. And it's interesting. So I asked for her energy as a person, and it shows exactly the energy of what she was. She was like at a crossroads, but she definitely wanted to go on this, It seems like there was discussions that you could be hitting a crossroads. Here's the international seas, where she's stopped, she's taken on land, she's deported, she's had to see the ship go away. The star card is her energy. I don't know when her date of birth is. I wonder if she's a Taurus. I don't have Taurus here, but I just wonder. Star card. So she believes in healing. She believes in having hope for humanity. 7 of Pentacles, being patient with what she needs to deliver with her messaging. Page of Cups, obviously she's young. And even focusing on not only her own country, but international waters is a lot of her focus. Even if this means trying to help covertly, at the expense of her being, alone in danger at night time. So, and it's for the positive outcome. So I don't get any bad cards for her at all. Aquarius, star card, fame, healing, faith, restoring faith, Age of Aquarius, humanity. So let's see, how is she feeling at the moment? So we get that she didn't deliver, okay? She feels like she didn't deliver. The second card, Two of Cups. Something's not in harmony with her. Obviously, what she wanted to do was not in harmony. The Chariot in reverse, she didn't arrive. And the Queen of Pentacles, she still feels like, I'm still going to go forward. I'm going to still own what I believe in. I'm going to go forward. Yes, I'm a page, but I'm going to act like a queen. It's interesting because I think it'll be good for me to hear how she speaks. I wonder, does she reminds me of a teenager, the way she looks, not a 22-year-old. So I wonder if she actually speaks like an actual, you know, better than some adults. But that's what I'm getting with the Queen of Pentacles, to be honest. So that's what we have on Greta. I'm going to leave this here. I hope you enjoyed this. Please take care and stay blessed. Bye for now.